Okay. Wow, I see you got this job opportunity to work for Joseph Stalin.
Yeah, we should check it out.
Yeah, we should look into who this guy is. Hey, how about you apply for it? You got to do that. It looks like a good opportunity.
Well, we'll have to see. We got to read his website and figure it all out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a good idea.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. He says, "My name is Joseph Stalin, and I was born on December 18th, 1878, in the town of the Russian Empire called Gorky, now referred to as Georgia. I was raised by a poor father, and he beat me whenever he was drunk. Also, when he was 7, he had smallpox, which left him with permanent scars, but he survived. So I guess there's a pros and cons to that. When I
Mm-hmm.
became a young adult to the Tbilisi Theological Seminary, which was a Georgian version of the Russian Orthodox Church, which he got kicked out of because of his radical beliefs. My communist ideologies come from Karl Knox, who I believe is a militant man. I have much experience as a leader in my community. So I guess we should see what else he has to say.
Yeah. All right. Says on his resume, from 1922 to 1952, he's the general secretary of the Communist Party. It's a pretty important position. What did he do, though? In this position, he created a series of 5-year plans to change the Soviet Union. He ruled with terror and wanted to achieve government control through the economy. It was his mission to eliminate those who felt like they were a threat to his mission as a leader. Uh, that's kind of different. And then throughout the 1930s, he found old Bolshevikian guilty of treason during unpublicized trials held in the Soviet Union. Hold on, I'm gonna look up some more about this guy real quick. Okay, it says he was the successor. Then looking at some other information, it says he was the successor to Vladimir Lenin, the Bolshevik who overthrew Tsar Nicholas II in the revolt of 1917. And after Lenin died in 1924, Stalin, there was a lack of leadership for 4 years. And there was a struggle in power between Trotsky and Stalin. And then Stalin won the power struggle in 1928, um, killing or removing a lot of his opposition. For instance, he removed other leading figures in 1917 like Kamenev, Zinoviev, Bukharin, and eventually he had Trotsky assassinated in 1940. But even after removing all those opponents, he still felt insecure, and he would conduct what would be known as something called the Great Purge. I don't know if they'll talk about this on this website, but it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad, man. There's a famine too. There's a famine and there's a famine in 1928. Um, and it says, as a result of this famine, and kulaks or peasants hoarding grain due to a shortage in grain production, he would start enacting the 5-year plan with something called forced collectivization. So privately owned farms were taken by the government, and these peasants were forced to join large collective farms. And this caused a great famine from 1930 to 1933. And he would create a doctrine to liquidate the kulak class to work towards Russia that would be ruled by him and him alone. And they collectivized 75% of the Soviet farms to get to the socialism in one country concept. And then after collectivizing all these farms, a lot of people died, and there was a lot of resistance. And then the Great Purge would happen. But I still don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, he's not sounding like the best employer right now.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like the most stand-up guy. Also, what's a cult of personality? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
It says that he also worked with the secret police or the NKVD. With the help of the NKVD, he was able to protect the state security of the Soviet Union. He said they were given punitive powers in order to control the people who disagreed with the views of his Communist Party. They maintain this control with repression such as murder, mass deportations, kidnappings, and coercion. Most of these people who experienced these repressive things were innocent, and it was established that their cases were fabricated by the secret police. The confessions were made under extreme pressure.
All right, so his first project name, The Great Purge. The Great Purge was one of my biggest projects. I sent many people to the Gulag prisons in Far East Russia. Millions were killed, and I used this as a campaign strategy for the people who did not like me. I had Bolshevik leader Sergei Kirov killed, and soon led to the elimination of all of my competition in 3 largely broadcasted trials called the Moscow trials. Majority of the people killed during these trials gave fabricated stories because they were threatened and tortured. I wanted them to fear me because they were a threat to my power. Gulag labor camps were my worst form of punishment, and it was enforced by the secret police, the NKVD. 2,000 writers, intellectuals, and artists were imprisoned, and 1,500 of them died in my concentration camps. The overall death count ranged from 700,000 to 1,200,000.
So it shows that number 2 is called the Holocaust. In order to compress the Ukraine nationalism, I began to try collectivizing farms from 1932 through 33 that led to a famine. There was a resistance from these small town farmers, and they decided not to give up their land. I used this method as an attack to get rid of the Ukrainians, independent thinking, and the obstacles I thought they posed to my totalitarian authority. These people were not considered kuklus, well-to-do peasants. In my eyes, they were considered traitors. The NKVD and my officials drove the Ukrainian people off their farms and made it our goal to have over 50,000 of them deported to Siberia. That doesn't sound very good. He's deporting people that basically work for him. Due to the fact that their grain harvest did not meet the numbers I needed, I took away the little food they did have as a punishment. Anybody who was accused of hoarding food was sent to prison. Many tried to leave and find new homes with food, but soon died. By 1933, I began to lay back on collections. There were only 1/3 of houses left and hardly any left to grow crops. From reading that, I don't think it's very good that he's punishing people. So that's kind of complicated.
Not a very safe work environment, I don't think.
Not at all.
Project Name 3, The Execution of the Red Army. In February of 1937, I made a decision to address the continuous threats and danger of the Soviet Union. A numerous amount of counter-revolutionary groups had infiltrated the Red Army. The Fifth Column, or the people who tried to dethrone me from my power, and Leon Trotsky were posing a threat to my mission. To handle this, I initiated purges throughout the Soviet Union. This included purges throughout the Red Army. Over 25,000 officers were disgraced, and majority of them were executed. Among the officers that were executed, 81 of them were generals and admirals.
Well, Stalin doesn't seem like the right employer for any of us, actually, because we either end up dead or dead. Yeah.
I don't even like farming that much, to be honest with you. I could go to the grocery store. I'll go to Walmart. I don't think I need to farm anything. So, do we all agree? Is it a yay or nay for this job?
Nay.
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 Yeah,